Good evening, I'm Alex Dierckman. Indiana Republican legislative leaders say Wednesday's U.S. Supreme Court rulings clear the way for the General Assembly to vote on a constitutional amendment banning same-sex marriage. Associate professor at the Indiana University Maurer School of Law, Deborah Whitus, says the Supreme Court decision strikes down a California's ballot measure banning same-sex marriage, but the ruling was narrow, so Indiana does not have to abide by that law.
It doesn't specifically bear on it one way or the other. I do think that it's part of what the Indiana legislature should be thinking about. I think that the trend is clear towards greater acceptance of same-sex marriage, and it's not clear to me that it makes sense to be amending our Constitution right now to go in the opposite direction.
In statements, Senate President Pro Tem David Long and Speaker Brian Bosma both say they anticipate the legislature will vote on the marriage amendment during the 2014 session. Bosma goes a step further, predicting the amendment will be passed and placed on the ballot for Hoosiers to vote on. Crane employees had appealed to the Department of Defense in an effort to prevent furloughs, but the appeal has been denied and the furloughs begin July 12th.
Hey, hey, whoa, whoa.
Crane employees protested a 20% pay reduction back in March. Months later, of Crane's approximately 5,000 employees, 4,200 of them will be forced to take 11 unpaid furlough days throughout September. Union members say they fear the furloughs will result in mission delays and future overtime. They fear it will also decrease the amount of money going into the local economy and the tax base for the surrounding counties. Representatives of the Department of Corrections appeared in federal court Wednesday after a judge questioned whether the department was abiding by an earlier ruling to better accommodate people with mental illnesses. The DOC plans to remodel facilities at the Pendleton Correctional Facility to accommodate the more than 400 seriously mentally ill inmates throughout the state. Indiana ACLU Legal Director Ken Falk says his agency is pleased with the DOC's plans, but emphasizes they need to be put into action quickly.
I have concerns because the court found that the existing conditions in which the prisoners exist is a violation of the Eighth Amendment, is unconstitutional. Unfortunately, it doesn't appear that there's much that can be done about that until we get the new facility up and running.
The judge says she's pleased with the plan, but says the DOC still has some work to do. And here's a look at the weather. Tonight, a 70% chance of severe thunderstorms with 70 degrees as a low. Tomorrow, 89 degrees is the high with a partly cloudy and 30% chance of thunderstorms. And tomorrow night, 69 degrees is a low and a 30% chance of storms. And here's a look at the 5-day forecast. Thursday, a 20% chance of thunderstorms with 88 degrees is the high, 82 degrees on Friday, and 80 degrees on Saturday. For more on these stories and other local news, go to indianapublicmedia.org. I'm Alex Dierckman.